On the 31st of March 2012, the Minister for Arts and Tourism, George Souris, launched Bathurst Cultural Tours. A brainchild of Mary and John Cuppaidge and the Arts Alive group, the tours highlight culture and visit many artists in the region. The speeches given in this DVD provide a good background to the cultural, tourism and lifestyle potential of Bathurst and District.
Before I begin, I'd just like to acknowledge the traditional owners of this land, the Wiradjuri people. And I'd like to say how fantastic it is to have a day like today on what feels like the first day of summer. The cricket in the field, the perfect blue sky, and of course today is the day we're putting our clocks back for autumn and winter. We really haven't had a summer. Bathurst is a unique and fantastic area. People are now flocking to this region, flocking out of Sydney for the lifestyle and everything that it has to offer here. And it has an incredibly vibrant artistic community. It seems quite a good portent for the launch of this cultural tours that local artist Tim Storia took the Archibald Prize yesterday. And I haven't read today's Western Advocate, but apparently he said that it was going to be a fantastic thing for arts in the community and bring more artists to live in this region. We have had artists living here, of course, for 100 years or more, but it'll be fantastic. Mary Cuppaidge thought we'd start with something intensely cultural, and so I would like to welcome Robert Berry, who likes to describe himself as a local scribe, and he has written a little ditty just for the occasion. Welcome, my dear.
Culture. My goodness, what a loaded word. How to define it? Where on earth to start? Does it suggest some rarefied elite of writers, sculptors, connoisseurs of art? Or could we find some culture in a tweet? Or should the literati stand aside? Is it in sport that culture doth reside? So this is what today is all about. We're on the trail, the tantalising scent of culture's in the air, there is no doubt. So with no more ado, I'll now bow out, make way now for our ministerial gent.
Thank you very much, Robert. That was delightful. I'd now like to welcome Paul Toole, our local state member, who's going to introduce the Minister. Paul.
Yeah, thank you, Mary, and it gives me great pleasure to be here today and also to have the Minister, the Honourable George Souris, here in the Bathurst electorate. George has a fairly large portfolio, as Mary already introduced at the start. He's the Minister for Tourism, the Minister for Arts, the Minister for Major Events and the Minister for Hospitality and Racing. So as you can see, he has a fairly large portfolio that he does cover. Can I just say too that the Minister also is no stranger to the Bathurst area. He has family here living in this area. He has been a regular visitor to the region on many occasions, and we're very pleased to be able to welcome him back here today to Bathurst. I could just let you know too, Minister, that from when I advertised on the radio this week that you were coming to Bathurst, the office telephones went berserk, and even though we've only got him here from about 12 o'clock today right through until about 10 o'clock tonight, the requests that came in were more than we could accommodate, but we're very pleased to jam in as much as we can today to show him what we do have. But without further ado, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you all the Honourable George Souris.
Well, thank you very much, Paul. It's a pleasure to be here in your area and in your electorate, and to be able to just say to your local people how valuable a Member of Parliament you are in New South Wales, in the New South Wales Parliament, and what a great mark you're making on behalf of your constituency. And the massive endorsement, you've probably heard that item before, but the massive endorsement you received has been well and truly justified from the perspective. I don't know whether I'm meant to now go back to the pavilion, am I? having been caught and bowled. So let me also acknowledge His Worship the Mayor, Councillor Greg Westman, Mary John Cuppaidge, as we know, Mary Moody, and the delightfully hybrid Mr. Robert Berry. I've never been introduced like that before, I must say. I have indeed had a busy day so far. In fact, I came out a little bit earlier to visit some of those family members, and I also called in on Robert Storia this morning to offer congratulations. I met him for the first time last night and told him I'm coming to Bathurst tomorrow, and he said, "Oh, you better drop in." And I said to him, "Well, when I do come up your driveway, I don't want to hear, 'Oh, he's turned up,' you know." Well, he didn't do that at all, so it was a pleasure to catch up with him here, and just to note the focus of the Archibald Prize win that it brings not only to him, of course, but to the local community, Bathurst. It's everybody. It was what was on everybody's lips last night at the Art Gallery of New South Wales. Today here, the launch of the Bathurst Cultural Tours is being held at the Information Centre, so may I say that's a sort of tourism angle, but of course it is about the heritage and culture and history of this local area, and it's a great concept. It's what we do when we go overseas to other places. It's exactly the thing you do, and it gives you a wonderful insight into what is the past history and so on. This is of course the earliest of all inland centres, and it's relevant, very relevant to the gold rush period. And so, there's plenty of heritage and history. And I'll just say one more thing, very much in your favour. I know it's probably taken for granted. I come from another country location, probably taken for granted, but the beautiful vista and scenery, the atmosphere, the air, and everything about a country location is also part of it. And I have to say that the feedback from tourists, in particular the new breed of tourists that are coming here, especially the Asians and in particular the Chinese who are coming here, come here because they are amazed by those qualities. They are utterly amazed. They love to hear the history. They like all of that, but it's the clear air and so on that really recharges their battery whilst they enjoy the heritage and history. And you have that combination, very much so. And it's the growing area. Tourism, in terms of tourism, the Chinese market has increased 15% over the last 12 months. And because, I guess, of our Australian dollar, maybe a few other reasons, every other market has either been steady or slightly decreased. But the Chinese market is absolutely exponential, and that's not the only 15% growth that we have seen from it. So gear yourselves up a little bit. Maybe it's only a little bit of signage or not even that, but if you understand that these tourists are looking for this experience, this environmental experience and this heritage experience, then you will reap great benefits from the boom that's coming. There are now 5 airlines flying to Australia on a daily basis from China. I really commend you on what you've achieved here, John and Mary. Congratulations to you both. You're the coordinators. My notes tell me the coordinators, and I haven't read it out, but there's a bit of praise in there for you, so perhaps I'll give you the speech afterwards. But I do congratulate you and the whole district on putting together this package, and I know it'll be a great success because I know it has been in other parts of the world. So you're really right on target with what you're doing, combining the arts, combining tourism, and combining your absolutely beautiful environment and your heritage and culture, which includes, of course, the Indigenous culture that's been referred to and respected. And I too offer my respects to the Wiradjuri. And if there are any people here of Aboriginal descent, then I pay my respects to you and your elders as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, those are my few words, and I have great pleasure in officially launching the Bathurst Cultural Tours.
Minister, you have many, many titles, but we are glad you are able to be here today and show support to us for the creative side of the Bathurst community. And of course, we particularly are delighted to have you really as the Minister of the Arts. Yes. Over here.
I've come closer to you.
Okay. I
know instruction when I hear it.
Oh gosh, you can tell I'm really nervous.
Depicts a little scene in Trunky Creek, which is just to the south of Bathurst. So hopefully one day it might be worth a couple of $1 million. So, there you go. Thank you very much.
So at their core, these three entities, the Bathurst Whole Food Co-op with their local market for suppliers and residents, the Bathurst Vignerons with their proactive tourism development project, and today's very welcome launch of the Bathurst Cultural Tours are solid examples of community cooperation that aim to grow Bathurst's regional profile as a self-sufficient region that is a fantastic destination to live in, to visit or even to move to. Finally, I'd like to congratulate Mary and John Cuppaidge on getting the Bathurst Cultural Tours up and running, and we at the Co-op eagerly await their first orders for local produce to feed her hungry clients. Thank you very much.
And on behalf of Bathurst Regional Council, I'd like to welcome everybody here today, especially the Minister and his lovely wife. Thank you very much for coming along, Nazi. It's great to have you here. And Member for Parliament, and State Member for Bathurst, Paul Toole, thank you very much. Mary and John Cuppaidge especially as well. It's a fantastic occasion that we're gathered here today, and obviously we've already seen some fantastic parts of our culture here in Bathurst region. It's important this occasion that we're here to celebrate today. It's important for a number of reasons. It's not just an addition to the culture of, or the cultural face of the Bathurst region. It's also a very important part to the development of our region as we continue to grow. We are obviously one of the oldest inland cities within Australia, or the oldest inland city in Australia. We're also one of the fastest growing inland cities within Australia and New South Wales as well. And as we continue to grow, professional development is something that we continue to seek. We continue to seek engineers, doctors, medical practitioners. All these professions need and like cultural pursuits. So this is a very welcome and very much needed addition to our region. And I'd like to thank Mary and John for having the foresight and the delivery to go through and launch such a fantastic tourism as well as local addition to our cultural face of the Bathurst region.
Hold on, we got the drums.